Hello everyone and welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Rainbow.
And it's time for a story and a fable. Once upon a time there were two hosts, Rainbow and Mike. And we're going to present our story and fable unit. Now for this month, we have the story of the shepherd boy.
Okay, and this is the story of a wise little boy who also just happens to be a shepherd. Now, it's interesting that there are a lot of these old stories about shepherd boys, right?
Yeah, actually, shepherds do feature in a lot of old stories. There's this fairy tale, and then, of course, there's the other one called The Shepherd Boy and the Wolf. That's a famous one. That's about another young shepherd who's always lying and playing tricks on people until one day when he finally tells the truth, no one helps him. Everyone knows that one.
Exactly. The boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
And also the Christmas story in the Bible has shepherds, right? They were following the star to where Jesus was born. Shepherds in that story too.
Well, that's a really good point. There are a lot of shepherds in these old stories, aren't there? Which is weird.
Oh, I mean, I guess so, but what do you mean?
Well, have you ever actually met a shepherd in real life?
Not in Taiwan. Never, actually.
Yeah, me neither. Interesting. Anyways, I guess these shepherds are all busy being wise or playing tricks or following stars. They have a lot of things to do.
They're busy.
Yeah, that must be it. Okay, guys. Well, we have a young shepherd boy to meet and read about. So let's get to it after we check out today's new vocabulary. Maybe I can find shepherds on an app. Shepherd app.
今天的 Stories and Fables 故事叫做聪明的小牧童 The Shepherd Boy. Shepherd 就是牧羊人的意思哦。我们先来看几个单字。第一个 provide 提供是个动词。Please provide your name and address. Please provide your name and address. 请提供你的名字和地址。第二个单字 palace 宫殿是个名词。The princess lived in a beautiful palace. The princess lived in a beautiful palace. 公主住在美丽的宫殿里。第三个单字 hall 大厅是个名词。The prince waited for the princess at the hall. The prince waited for the princess at the hall. 王子在大厅等公主。最后一个单字 deal 交易是个名词。英文有一句话 It's a deal 就代表成交，这件事情就这么决定了。When Jake asked Sandy what she thought of the plan, she said, It's a deal. When Jake asked Sandy what she thought of the plan, she said, It's a deal. 当 Jake 问 Sandy 对计划有什么想法时，他说成交。
There once was a shepherd boy. People far and wide knew about him and his special talent. He always provided wise answers when others asked him questions. The king didn't believe it. He wanted to see the boy's talent for himself, so he called the boy to the palace. When the boy arrived at the great hall, the king offered him a deal.
So, the shepherd boy. Who is he? What is going on in his life? And where are his sheep? Anyways, I hope they're somewhere safe because taking care of sheep is really his one and only job.
Yeah.
So let's start reading and find out what's going on.
Okay, so the first sentence tells us, there once was a shepherd boy. Well, that's a good start. I think it's safe to say that he was just the main character in our story.
Yeah, I would bet money on that. So what is up with this shepherd boy? Let's read on. It says, people far and wide knew about him and his special talent.
Wow.
Okay, so he was famous all over the place. And we know that because we can see that our first grammar point is far and wide, which we just read in the sentence there. So, a famous shepherd boy. It's unusual, but I guess there was a good reason why this shepherd boy and his talent were so famous. We just don't know what it is yet.
No, but we will in a second because as we read on, the story explains, he always provided wise answers when others asked him questions. Well, he was a wise shepherd boy. Of course, I get it.
So he was wise and famous and gave lots of good answers. He was the Google of shepherd boys.
Sounds like Google.
Yes, now I understand why he was so well known far and wide. Okay, we have a new vocabulary word here, and that word is to provide. This verb is basically the same as give, especially when you give something, or maybe that is your job. Your parents provide you with food and a place to live. The MRT service provides everyone in Taipei with fast and safe transportation. And I mentioned Google. Google provides people with lots of information anytime they want to know something. It gives it to you or supplies it to you.
Just like this boy. So this boy gave wise answers to the questions that people asked him. I guess as a shepherd, we would also say that he provided the sheep with safety, right? He kept them safe from wolves and other dangers.
That's a good point. Well, I mean, that was his job, wasn't it? So he was a good shepherd, but a great person to ask questions to. And he was famous because of that. But there was one person who didn't think he could possibly be that wise.
So as we read on, it says, the king didn't believe it. So I guess the king, of course, he's fancy, and so he has fancy advisors and wise men around him. So he's thinking, how can this poor shepherd boy who never even went to school be so wise? That can't be true, right? 国王身边都有很多谋士，就类似我们的顾问 advisor 就是顾问的意思哦。国王觉得一个小牧童怎么可能这么聪明呢？
Yeah, so as we read next in the story, he, that's the king, he wanted to see the boy's talent for himself. So he called the boy to the palace. Wow, the shepherd boy is going to get to visit the king in the palace. That's a big deal. And the word palace, which is another new vocabulary word for today, is just a really, really big house for kings and queens to live in. Palaces will be beautiful, expensive, probably have lots of room and gold and paintings and stuff. Queen Elizabeth II of Britain, for example, lives in the famous Buckingham Palace in the middle of London.
Fancy， 这边补一下 ，Buckingham Palace 就是白金汉宫，我们的英国女皇就住在里面哦。So the shepherd goes over to the king's palace. As we get to our break, we find out exactly what the king wants from the wise little boy. It says, when the boy arrived at the great hall, the king offered him a deal.
That is interesting. So this all happened in a great hall in the palace. Hall is our third new word for today, and it is really just a big room, much, much bigger than a normal room. A dining hall might be at a big school or somewhere like that. It can probably fit 50, 60, or even hundreds of people who would eat in there all at the same time. And a concert hall is somewhere that lots of people could go to watch and listen to a musical concert. So halls are rooms, but really big rooms.
And in this hall, the king said to the shepherd boy that if the boy did something for him, the king would then do something for the boy. That's what a deal is, and that's our another new vocabulary word. When people are doing business, for example, they want to get something out of the agreement that they make. So one side doesn't want to give everything, the other side just take everything, right? So they have to make a deal. Okay, that means I give you something you want, and you give me something I want, and we're both happy.
Yeah, so let's hope that the king is going to offer the shepherd boy a good deal.
Yep.
All right, well, we'll find out about this after our break.
The king said,
If you can answer my 3 questions, I'll look on you as my own child. What's more, you'll live with me in the palace.
So, the shepherd boy is at the king's palace, and the king is about to offer him a deal. Now, this could be good for the shepherd boy. After all, the king is very powerful and rich. But it could also be bad because kings are very powerful and rich.
Oh, too powerful and too rich. So let's find out what kind of deal the king offers to the shepherd boy. Back in our story, we read, the king said, "If you answer my 3 questions, I'll look on you as my own child." Okay, so that sounds good, right? Because if the boy can answer the questions, the king's going to adopt him as a son or make him a prince, and he'll be rich. 哇，国王和牧童说，只要回答我的3个问题，我就把你当亲生小孩，有点像是要收养这位牧童的意思哦。刚才用到的 adopt 就是收养、领养。
So the king's deal is that if the wise shepherd boy can answer 3 questions, the king will treat him like a son. That's pretty good, right? And it seems that that's not all the king is offering the shepherd boy. In the last sentence in this first part of the story, it also says, "What's more, you'll live with me in the palace."
Wow.
Hey, that's okay. So he'll get to live there in the palace with the king, probably have a really, really big bedroom and servants and, good stuff, right?
Yeah, but won't he have to give up his job being a shepherd?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe the sheep can come to live with him in his giant bedroom. There'll be lots of space for them, so that might work. Anyway, we'll learn more about all of this and much more tomorrow in today's second part of our Stories and Fables unit. Please come back to join us for that. And until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
There once was a shepherd boy. People far and wide knew about him and his special talent. He always provided wise answers when others asked him questions. The king didn't believe it. He wanted to see the boy's talent for himself, so he called the boy to the palace. When the boy arrived at the great hall, the king offered him a deal. The king said,
If you can answer my 3 questions, I'll look on you as my own child. What's more, you'll live with me in the palace.
Hi, 我是 Winnie， 又见面啦！一样，今天来看看新的生活用语。首先，第一个是 far and wide， 四处、各处的意思。far 呢就是远方、远处，那 wide 呢是有宽的意思。这边呢就是指大范围。So they searched far and wide for the missing child. 他们四处寻找那个失踪的孩子。第二个是 somebody arrives at place， 某个人或是物到达了某地。那 arrive 呢是一个不及物动词，它是抵达的意思。那我们首先看第一个例句呢，它是如果是用在物的话呢，我们可以说 At what time will the train arrive at the station？ 那班火车什么时候会抵达车站呢？那第二个例句呢是When does Dad arrive at home? I can't wait to start dinner. 爸爸什么时候才会到家啊？我已经等不及要吃晚餐了啦。那最后一个是 A looks on B as C。 A 把 B 视为呢，或是当作什么？举例 I love my friend Justine. I look on her as a sister. 我爱我的朋友 Justine， 我把她视为我自己的亲姐妹。
Hi everyone, I'm Stephen.
And I'm Jen.
We're gonna play this game called Guess the Bear, where each of us has 3 cards with words or phrases, and we're gonna read 2 sentences for each of these words or phrases, but instead of saying the word, we're gonna say the word bear or joke. The other person has to guess these 3 words within 1 minute. So, all right, I'll say mine and you guess first.
All right.
Are you ready? Here we go. This is a word that is a verb. Can you bear with me a phone number to reach you at?
Give.
My parents bear food and shelter for me.
Provide.
Oh my God, you're good. Okay, this is a noun. I'll make you a bear. You clean the kitchen and I'll clean the bathroom. I've got a really good bear at the store. 2 shirts for 99 NT dollars.
Deal?
Yes! Okay, this is a phrase, it's 3 words. Okay, the news of the king's death was spread bear, joke. They are not local, but come from bear, joke.
Across the country? Across
Bear.
the world?
Joke bear. The news of the king's death was spread bear, joke bear.
Spread worldwide?
It's hard. This one's really hard. I can say what it is, right? Far and wide.
Far and wide.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
Really,
okay.
guys? Really?
All right,
Okay.
my turn.
All right, here we go.
All right, 1 word.
Okay.
Noun.
Okay.
Wow, your house is huge like a bear. Second sentence. The Queen of England lives
Castle.
in No,
Fortress.
close. The Queen of England lives in Buckingham Bear.
Palace.
All right, noun. 1 word.
Okay.
The teacher said there's no running in the bear.
Hallways. Hallway. Classroom. Class. School.
I'll
Dining.
give you another.
Okay.
I want to be in the bear of fame.
Hall. There you
All right, 2 words.
go. Okay.
The birthday girl will bear joke the restaurant soon.
Arrive at.
See you next time.